Hey boys and girls, we are going to keep working on visualizing. We got to work on it last week a little bit, but it was a short week. So we're going to work on visualizing the rest of this week just so we can get really good at it. So just a reminder, visualizing is when you make a picture in your mind based on what is read or told. And this little girl is visualizing the beach. Now let me tell you something about visualizing. Most of us do it anytime we pull something from our memory. Like for example, if I lost something and I couldn't find it, like Mrs. Kimmel loses her phone all the time. I set it down someplace and I forget where I left it. So I kind of visualized in my mind all the places that I had it. Like sometimes I take it to the bathroom, sometimes I take it and just set it down while I'm cooking or while I'm doing laundry or something. So I go back to the places that I remember being in my mind so I can actually see myself holding my phone in those places. So then I remember to go back. Okay, that's a type of visualizing. So today we're going to kind of be visualizing using our memory, but we're going to do it in order to retell a book. Because it's important to be able to retell a book, because that means we were listening enough that it's stuck in our head and we can tell other people about it. Okay, so I'm going to read this entire book out loud. It's a funny one. I like it. It's called Oh No, George. So George is the dog and he's kind of silly. So I'm going to read this book and then I'm going to retell it from my mind and put some little pictures along the path to show what images are in my head to help me remember. And an image is almost like an icon or clip art or like an emoji, any of those little things that are on the bottom of your iPad or your phone, kind of like those things are in my head, right? Okay, so here we go. Oh no, George. Harry is going out. Will you be good, George? Asks Harry. Yes, says George. I'll be very good. George is a silly old dog. I hope I'll be good, George thinks. George sees something in the kitchen. It's cake. Oh, I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love cake. What will George do? Oh no, George! Look at him. Nom, nom, nom. He's eating that cake up. What has George seen now? It's cat. I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love to play with cat. What will George do? Oh no, George! Look at him chasing the cat, knocking the phone over and the lamp and the table, everything. What has George seen now? Some lovely dirt. I said I'd be good, George thinks, but I love to dig in dirt. What will George do? Oh no, George! Look at him digging in the dirt that's in the house. He's gonna get in big trouble. Oh, here we go. Harry is back. Hello, Harry. Great to see you. George, what have you done? You've ruined the place. And how on earth did you eat a whole cake? Look at George's little face. He's embarrassed maybe. I said I'd be good, George thinks. I hoped I'd be good, but I wasn't. Oh, he's got a little tear. What will George do now? I'm sorry, George says. I want to give you my favorite toy. He likes this little duck. Thank you, George, says Harry. Why don't we go out for a nice walk? Great. George loves to go out. There are so many things to see and do. Uh-oh. George has seen a cake. Will he eat it? No. George goes straight past. Well done, George. George sees some lovely dirt. Will he have a little dig? No. Well done, George. George doesn't even try to chase Cat. Even Cat is a bit surprised. Look at Cat. He's like, what? Something smells very interesting. What can it be? It's a trash can. There's nothing George likes more than digging in the trash. What will George do? George? Oh, they're not going to tell us what George is going to do. What do you think George is going to do? Okay, so now I'm going to retell it using pictures from my memory. And the tricky thing is that we're going to use this little page, and it only has 4 boxes. So kind of like when we tell our stories, like when we plan the stories that we're writing, I'm going to kind of touch and talk, touch and say, or kind of like that. So I'm going to take this up here, and I might even scoot you guys up a little bit so you can see better when I write. Okay, there we go, up close, zoom. Okay, so let me think. I'm thinking about the story. Okay, George went, no, Harry, right? Harry went on a walk. That was his owner. Harry went on a walk, and then George destroyed the house, right? And then he gave him his favorite toy to like apologize. George gave Harry his favorite toy to apologize. And then when he went on the walk, he didn't destroy everything. So see, I had to do a little bit of smushing because there were like lots of things that George destroyed, right? Like there was the dirt, he chased the cat, he ate the cake, right? But I kind of just squished those things all into one and just said he trashed the house. And that's okay, you can do that. In fact, sometimes you have to, okay? Especially if they have something in common, like they all have to do with him destroying the house. So they match. All right, so let's see. What did I say? First, Harry went for a walk, right? So I'm gonna show maybe like a door, okay? And here's Harry. I'm gonna show like the back of his head. And maybe Harry's kind of a weird shaped little guy. There he is. He's kind of a big nose, but you really can't see it. So here's the door, and I'm going to show that he's going out. And here's George. He's got like a big long face and these big long puppy dog ears. Here's George, and he's got these eyes. There. He looks funny. He looks kind of like a cow. Okay, so here's George, and Harry's leaving, okay? I can write words too, but I can also just draw pictures. So it's up to you because we're visualizing, okay? But if you want me to be able to tell what your picture is, you could type and label on here, or you can write. So I'm going to just make it simple. I'm going to say, oh, my marker's being silly. Harry went out, okay? And then over here, I'm going to say that George destroyed the house, right? And so in my visualization, I see him digging in the dirt and eating the cake. Those are the 2 main ones that kind of stick in my head. So those are the ones that I'm going to draw. So I'm going to draw the cake. And I think I might draw like big hunks out of it. And here's George. Here's his little mouth. Maybe I'll make it open. Ah, that looks really crazy. So he's like, nom, 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 nom. He's eating the cake. I'll put birthday candles on it so we can tell what it is. Okay, so he's eating the cake and he dug in the dirt. So let's see, I'm gonna draw, it was almost like a flower pot that was in the house, I think. And then there was full of dirt. But he dug in the dirt and the dirt went everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to say Harry trashed the house. Like that. And then let's see. He said he was sorry by giving him the duck, right? Okay, so I'm just going to draw the duck because that's the big thing that I see here. He's got this little duck. He's got this little tail. Here's his little mouth. Here he is, and he's got these little wings. So Harry. No, not Harry. I said Harry here too. Good grief, you guys got to tell me when I'm messing up. It was George who trashed the house. George trashed the house. George gave Harry his favorite toy. I could add, you know, to say sorry, because that's really why he did it. And then last, they went on a walk, but he was good, right? So, like, here's this, Harry's kind of weird looking. He's got, like, this weird hair, and he's got this big eye, and he's kind of got a big nose, I think. There he is. And he's walking George. So here's Harry. And he's walking George. George has like a long face and these big old ears. Here's his big eyes. And he's got kind of this weird little body here. Mrs. Kimmel is not the best artist. But here he is. And so here I'm going to say, Harry walked George. And then I'm going to say George was good. So when I retold this, like before I could even start writing or anything, I had to see it in my head, right? I had to kind of think, okay, what happened? You know, sometimes I even close my eyes to think. So I was kind of like, you know, I can see Harry leaving. I'm playing the movie in my head right now. I can see Harry leaving, right? And that's why I drew the door. I can see George trashing the place. And like I said, the main things I see are the cake and the dirt. And that's why it is in my head. So that's why I drew it. And then I saw him giving the duck. And so I drew the duck. And then I saw them going for a walk. And he was a good dog. Okay? Those are the things that I see. I even kind of see the cat in the tree. So I might draw the cat in the tree because that part stood out to me. Now, there's the kitty in the tree. Okay? So draw what you see in your head. And it's okay to close your eyes to talk, to tell it if you have to, because sometimes it helps you focus and block everything else out. Okay, so I did this book on, or this example on the book, Oh No, George. So I'm going to find a good book on Epic that I think is pretty simple to retell. And I want you to retell it in the visualization chart, okay? Make sure you're closing your eyes and thinking about it to tell the story, okay? Okay, can't wait to hear about your stories.